Welcome back to Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. This is Roger Hoover, now joined by the head coach of the Crimson Tide men's basketball team, Nate Oats.
Thanks, Roger. Nice welcome there. I think Murphy had something to do with that.
He always does.
Appreciate it, Murph.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and we're glad to have you here for a long time. We got some very good news earlier this week about your contract extension to stay at the University of Alabama. How important was that for you to have that done, first of all, especially at this point of the year?
It was nice. I mean, it's nice they want to have me around for a few more years. So we like it here. We feel like we're building something special. We've put a lot of the groundwork in to get the program up to the level it's at. We'd like to continue to build it. I think it's big for recruiting, where recruits know that we're not going anywhere. We're here for the long haul, and we're trying to build this thing into a perennial powerhouse. We compete for championships every year. So great to be wanted. I work with an unbelievable administration. I think Greg's the best AD in the country, and Dr. Bell's one of the best presidents. I mean, he's super supportive of athletics, so it's a great place to work. As far as basketball coaches go, it's a great place to live. As far as my family goes, so made a lot of sense in a lot of different areas, and it's good for recruiting. It's good for the program in general.
You mentioned you like it here in Tuscaloosa, and when you go back to when you first had the opportunity presented to you when you were the head coach at Buffalo, what'd you like about Alabama then? And as the 4 years have gone along, what have you liked more and more about this opportunity?
I mean, I thought you could win. They've won in about every other sport, so the chance to compete at the highest level, the resources to win. I did like, the South. The weather's a little nicer down here than up in Buffalo. But, the biggest thing was, could you raise a family here? Tuscaloosa is a great city. Can you win? I feel like you definitely can win. Proven you can win now. You've 6 different sports, won a national championship. Murph, one of them, right before me. But, I wanted to be at a place where you could win in the long term and where you really enjoy living, and that's been proven. We have been winning at a high level, and it's a great, like I said, it's a great place to live.
Glad to have you here and glad to see the contract extension for you and your staff coming up here in Tuscaloosa. And you mentioned Alabama's been winning, got a 10-point victory on the road against LSU, sweeping the Tigers this season. What made Saturday a success? Yeah,
I mean, we shot it pretty well. We took care of the ball. We only had 9 turnovers. We've been doing a pretty good job of that over the last month. We shot it 45% from 3, made our free throws 93% at the line. So, we didn't do some of the other stuff I would have liked to have seen at the level we need to do it. Our defense wasn't where it needed to be. It picked up late in the game. The last 7 or 8 minutes or so, our defense picked up, and our offense kind of dropped. When our defense picked up, our offense dropped, which would have been nice if we could have had a little more separation there late. But, we shot it well. We took care of it, and we scored enough to get a road win. And this team's better than what their record is. I mean, if you look, they played some teams tough. I know we blew them out at our place the first time. We shot it really well that game, and they didn't. But they only had 1 loss in non-conference. That was to K-State. K-State's top 10 team. They lost K-State by 2. That was their only non-conference loss before SEC play started. So it was a good team that's going to knock some people off here in the last half of conference play, I believe.
You mentioned that the defense needed to pick up its effort and intensity. Who are some of those guys when you challenge them in the huddle that you see go back on the court and provide that spark you need defensively?
Clowney's definitely one. You saw that chase down block he had at in the last part of the game. He had the steal with the save. I mean, Clowney's been great for us that way. You got different guys that are capable of doing it. Jaden Bradley's more than capable of doing it. Mark Sears has done it. Even Brandon Miller, as good as he is on offense, he's been great on defense too with his length and athleticism. He can, make tough blocks, steals, big rebounds. He's been good for us that way. And I think you've seen guy like Namari Burnett, when the Houston game lock up Sasser, and he's starting to get that defensive swagger back. His offense has been back. He's great these last 2 games. Both games this week, his offense was a lot better. So, we got different guys can provide it. Charles, get you a big block when you need it. At the end of the North Carolina game, he came up big with a big block in that game. So different guys have brought it at different times for us.
Let's go to the phones to the Yellowhammer Brewing Hotline and check in once again with Pee Wee, who joins us from Grand Bay, Alabama. Roll Tide, Pee Wee.
Roll Tide, Roger. Hey, Coach, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Pee Wee. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You was talking about the way the defense stepped up and the offense kind of went down, but the one thing you had mentioned also was the amount of turnovers. We only had 9 for the entire game, and I don't know how many we had in the second half, but it wasn't many at all. And how big has that been when you're going down the stretch that you don't have those kind of turnovers to allow those guys to possibly get points and commit fouls, which we were able not to do as well, to send them to the free throw line, which I think was a big part of that win Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we put them at the free throw line way too often, but when we win, we made ours. We were 14 of 15. I think we had the turnovers about split even. I think it was 5 in one half and 4 in the other, if I remember right. So we did a pretty good job taking care of the ball both halves. But late game, you really want to make sure you get a shot up. So that was a big deal. But our defense needs to be better. It's going to have to be better to beat Florida. And then we got a tough 2-game road stretch after that. So our defense has to get better. But I think you see our offense outside of the last 7 minutes of that game, our offense was pretty good, which you kind of alluded to there with how well, and we shot it well from 3 too. We shot 45% from 3 as well.
Yeah, and Rylan Griffin really shot it well. 4 of 5 on the day in Baton Rouge. He had 14 points. Just what's he doing best right now?
You know what, Rylan's, he's a good shooter. He's shooting the ball with confidence. He's taking decent shots. He's playing in the flow. And I mean, sure, it's great to have him and Namari both shooting it well. We needed some guys to shoot it well that kind of help out Brandon. And Sears got it going there late, but Sears hasn't been shooting it as well as he had been there for a while in the year. So we needed somebody to pick it up, and Rylan and Namari both picked it up big this week.
And then even Rylan during the game, it sounds like from your post-game press conference, he recognized a moment where JQ was helping everybody else out on the floor. Yeah,
you know what? I can't remember maybe it was Charles we were putting back in because they went with a big, and we felt like we needed to get big. And we could kind of move Clowney to the 4. So I think I told him to get JQ, and Rylan came running over and said, no, leave him in. He's creating offense for people. He's getting the paint. Like leave him in. Take me out. So I left JQ in, and sure enough, the next play I got in the paint. Collapsed the defense, sprayed it out to Sears. Sears did a big 3 in the corner. I went over to Rylan. I said, that's big time. I mean, it really is big time. That's a freshman that's fighting for every minute he can get. For him to realize that JQ was creating offense, and I realized it too. We just trying to get a rotation going. I thought Sears could play the 1, but for Rylan to say, no, leave him in, I thought that was huge of Rylan to do that. I think it just shows what he's about. I mean, he's really just all about the team. Whatever the team needs to do to get better, that's what he's about, and I think that goes a long ways.
That's some good coaching, starting with Rylan Griffin. Some good work, definitely. And it seems like you're really comfortable with this freshman class, the leadership role they've taken on this team, especially over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Brandon's obviously really talented. He's got a high IQ. He plays hard. He plays well on both ends. Jaden Bradley's got a high IQ. He's your point guard. You want to, rely on him. Clowney's vocal, plays hard. Kind of a glue guy, does a little bit of everything. Even when he's not making shots, he's helping you win. He rebounds the ball well. So, all the freshmen have been really good for us this year. And, we're fortunate to have a freshman class that's as mature as those guys are.
They're certainly playing at a high level for the Crimson Tide. When we come back with Coach Oats, we'll talk about what's next for Alabama basketball starting on Wednesday against Florida. You're listening to Hey Coach, presented by Alfa Insurance. For auto, home, and life insurance, call Alfa. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Tide fans, Golden Flake Snacks have been a proud partner with the Tide family for 65 years. The South's original potato chip, Golden Flake Snacks are delicious fan favorites because they're crafted from traditional Southern recipes. From crisp, perfectly flavored potato chips to light and airy pork rinds and fluffy, cheesy cheese puffs, Golden Flake Snacks are a winning combination with Alabama basketball. Share Golden Flake Snacks with your Tide family and friends. Simple, Southern goodness. That's Golden Flake.
The way we do work has changed. Where we work, how we work, and the day-to-day challenges we face as businesses have evolved. As organizations continue to adapt, RJ Young is here to help. We're your one-stop for technology solutions that power your business. Whether it's office technology and equipment, managed IT services, business process outsourcing, or digital communications, we can help make your workflows easier, faster, and more efficient so your team can focus on the core of your business. To learn more about what RJ Young can do for you, visit themodernoffice.com.
Communities don't just happen. They're built by people. From the big moments to the small acts of kindness. It's the authentic connections we make that define us. At Alfa Insurance, we know that every day you're building things that are worth protecting. Because for us, this is more than coverage. It's who we are. Alfa Insurance, building tomorrow together.
In SEC sports, the ifs come at you every minute. What if your QB had released the ball a second earlier? What if the head coach hadn't used his last timeout? What if your team goes all the way this season? If you love the tradition, if you live for the rivalry, if you can't wait each week for the absolute edge of your seat action, Regions is right there with you as the official bank of the SEC.
Regions can't help you with the F's in sports. Regions helps you embrace the F in life.
Member FDIC.
Yellowhammer Brewing is proud to sponsor the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yellowhammer Brewing has been crafting fine beers for the state of Alabama for 12 years running. Their beers include a variety of classic styles, including their latest release, Yellowhammer Gold, a light, easy-drinking American lager. These guys are local and doing great things for their community. You can find their beers at grocery stores, restaurants, and craft beer shops throughout the state. Check them out at yellowhammerbrewing.com. Make your next pint of Yellowhammer and roll Tide.
Quinterley on the drive, reverses back, Sears, catch, shoot, three, back-to-back threes from the pride of Muscle Shoals. Mark Sears buries it, and with 7:14 to play, Bama leads it by a dozen.
Our visit with Nate Oats is presented by CB&S Bank. You can bank anywhere at any time with CB&S Bank's digital solutions. Managing your finances has never been so easy. The Crimson Tide returning to action coming up on Wednesday at 8 p.m. against the Florida Gators inside Coleman Coliseum. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. But while we have a moment, let's go back to the Yellowhammer Brewing Hotline and go to Florence, where JT joins us now. Roll Tide, JT.
Hey, good evening, guys. I just had a question about the way you wear your uniforms. I noticed when you're at home, you wear white, and you're on the road, you wear red. I think the girls wear red at home and white on the road, and the football team wears red at home and white on the road. I'm just kind of curious if there was a rule about that or personal preference or what it is, and I'll get off and listen. Y'all have a good night.
JT, it's a standard deal in college basketball. The home team wears white. Occasionally, if you request the visiting team, if there's a reason, if you have a blackout or whatever, you can ask them if they'd wear the white ones and you wear black, but that has to be an agreement. If there's nothing said before, the home team always wears white. So if you turn on a college basketball game, like got the Miami Duke game on right now, Miami's in white, they're at home, Duke's in blue, they're on the road, or black. So that's the way it is in college, probably 99% of the time.
Do you like that Alabama has such traditional uniforms that we haven't seen them really change at all in your time in Tuscaloosa? And I imagine as long as you're here, you won't make many changes to the uniform.
I mean, it is what it is. We're going to wear crimson and white. That's the way it is around here. So.
That's how we like it. Yeah, we certainly love the tradition, and we love the winning that we've seen from your group, and now trying to keep it going on Wednesday against a very good Florida team that's 6-4, and last week had a big win against Tennessee. Yeah,
Florida's good. I mean, they beat Tennessee. They played Kentucky all the way to the wire at Kentucky. They're playing better and better. I mean, they're playing their best basketball right now. They got a new coach. I think they kind of had to learn how to play in his system, and that they're defensively, they're top 10 in the country. You know, Colin Castleton's top 10 in the country himself. You go to KenPom, they've got like National Player of the Year rankings. He's in the top 10. So they've got a really good player, you know, top 5 player in the league. They've got top 10 defense in the country. Offensively, you know, he's an analytics guy. They play by the numbers a lot. They're starting to come around and kind of come together. So it's a dangerous game. I mean, if we don't play better than we did at LSU, we're not going to win the game. So we had a great practice this morning. I think the guys understand we got to be better than we were at LSU, and I think we will be. But this is a good team. Charles is going to have his hands full with Castleton, and they've got some really good shooting in the starting lineup. They got some good shooters coming off the bench too.
So the Crimson Tide again at home on Wednesday at Coleman Coliseum against the Florida Gators. Just what kind of energy do you want to see from your team to start this basketball game? Obviously, we saw a lot of it early in the game against Vanderbilt last time out at home.
Yeah, we want to see our defense pick up, you know, play hard, max effort, all the blue-collar points, get some deflections. You know, we just need to play harder. I think if you play harder, the defense takes care of itself. You know, you got to be locked in, you got to be focused, but we really got to be locked into Castleton, and you got to do it in a way that you're not doubling, letting them pass out and they've got 3 guys in the starting lineup that can really shoot the ball at a high clip. So, you know, we're going to have to guard Castleton well without giving up threes to all their shooters, which is not easy to do. Now, I think Charles has been good on some bigs in the past, but Castleton's different than like Sheboy. You know, Charles' length really bothered a guy like Sheboy, where Castleton's just as tall as Charles is, and he's got great footwork and great touch. So he's going to be a tough matchup for us.
Coach, we look forward to seeing you and the Crimson Tide back in action on Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide. Thanks, Roger.
That's the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Nate Oats, joining us tonight on Hey Coach, presented by Alfa Insurance. For auto, home, and life insurance, call Alfa. Also, we want to give a special thanks to Onward Reserve, the official apparel provider of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, for all the great gear this season. Visit onwardreserve.com for all of your golf and game day apparel. Live authentically with Onward Reserve. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.